Hello and welcome to Hexed Encountered. My name is Joe. Today I'm going to be doing an unboxing of the brand new game from Decision Games called D-Day at Saipan. This is the latest entry in the D-Day at series. Originally designed by John Butterfield, started with D-Day at Omaha Beach, followed by D-Day at Tarawa, D-Day at Peleliu. Then Joe Youst took over and did D-Day at Iwo Jima, and now D-Day at Saipan. So we're going to take a look and see what's in the box. I've been looking forward to this game for a while. I have played D-Day at Tarawa, really enjoyed it. I know that D-Day at Iwo Jima took a little bit of flack in the community because some people felt that the rules weren't done all that well. They moved the firing dots to a second sheet so that it wasn't directly on the map, which a lot of people did not like. So I know that when they did this game, they kind of tried to fix some of that stuff up. And so we're going to take a look inside and see what it looks like. And then in sometime in the near future, I'm going to do a playthrough of this game. And then I'll be able to draw some comparisons between this and D-Day at Tarawa, which was done by John Butterfield and is obviously closer to the original design. So without any further waiting, we will take a look at this. So here's the back of the box. As you can see, this is a solitaire game. It does say that it can have 3 players, I guess, in a co-op way. The box, typical stuff on the back, tells you how many counters are in here, 528. You get the mounted game board, 22 by 34 and 11 by 17. Scenario setup diagram, player aid cards, color rules booklet, 56 event cards, and storage bags. So let's open this sucker up and see what we have in here. All right. Nice thick box. Okay, so here's our deck of cards. If you're familiar with the series, it is a card-driven game. The card basically determines what the enemy does, what the Japanese do. In this case, obviously, looks pretty similar to what I remember from Tarawa. Here's our storage bags. Rules booklet. Looks like we have 32 pages. This looks pretty similar to what I remember from the other book. We have descriptions of what the counters look like. There's a lot of illustrations, so even though it's 32 pages long, here's a description of what the cards are. We have a sequence of play, how amphibious operations work, Japanese fire. Pretty similar to what I remember. Raid attacks. I do remember reading that this game has a system where you need to kind of maintain a continuous line to prevent the Japanese from infiltrating. Japanese tanks, the scenarios, pillboxes and caves, etc. Events. So, yep. Okay, here's our counters. So we have obviously these are American units. We have our hero units that are familiar from the other games in the series, basically famous Marines in this case that were important in the battle. Here are Japanese. Pretty familiar. And then we start getting our counters for markers and things like that. Garrisons, disruption, artillery, etc., etc. So we have three counter sheets. Here is the scenario setup display. I know we got some glare here and maybe a shadow as well, but Yeah, this just basically looks like it explains where you set up your units, what beaches, etc. for the Marines. On the other side, we have an example of Japanese tank attacks. So that's interesting. D-Day at Saipan. Let me turn this around. Holding box display. Okay, so this is where you would put your losses. So you have 2 Marine divisions that were involved in that campaign, as well as the Army's 27th Infantry Division. Then we have Japanese units that were eliminated. We have a turn sequence track. Yeah, the amphibious ops, headquarters, etc. This is all looking fairly similar to what I remember. The setup key to show you where to put your units, or the Japanese units, rather. Charts and tables. Record track, turn track, the reserve pool, fire action summary. This one's double-sided. Raid check. So this is what I was talking about. We don't have adjacency here, so this is probably an opportunity for them to perform a raid. And then we have our map. We'll take the map out. Here's the map. Here's our map. Obviously, this is not the entire island of Saipan, just kind of the western side, which is where the landings took place. You can see the compass rose here, I believe. Maybe you can. It might be off camera. But there's a compass rose here at the bottom. Here's the airfield. And then obviously we have our firing dots that appear to be on the map this time and not on a separate sheet, which is nice. And we have our beaches, red, green, blue, and yellow. Yeah, so the main difference from the early game, the Tarawa game, is that a lot of the turn track and your charts for landings, upcoming waves and so on, were all kind of on the board itself. This map, obviously, well, for one thing, Saipan is a much larger island than Tarawa, so that would be why. I have not played Peleliu or Iwo Jima, so I'm not sure how those maps compare. I believe Iwo Jima has the entire island on the map, though, so the scale might be a little different, but Saipan is a fairly large island in comparison, especially to the Baishio Atoll at Tarawa. So this is the map. This is the game. So the next thing you're going to see from me on this game, at least, will be a playthrough. I am going to play this and see what I think of it, and compare it to to Tarawa, especially because that's the one I have personal experience with. I will be getting Peleliu at some point, and probably Iwo Jima as well, especially now that the rules have been updated, and maybe that experience will be better. I kind of hesitated only because of the bad press that game received, but I'm willing to bet that it's probably still an entertaining and fun game, because the system itself is so good, and I know that it was modified a little bit. The Iwo Jima battle especially was different than say Tarawa and Peleliu were. The way the Japanese defended that island. So this invasion was memorable for a few reasons. This was the one that was in the movie Wind Talkers, and also this one had a big bonsai attack. Like the biggest bonsai attack in the entire war, I believe, took place during the Battle of Saipan. I don't know that that's in this game. I believe that was towards the end of the campaign, when they had moved further inland and had almost conquered the entire island by that point. So that's going to do it. I appreciate you watching, as always. So thank you for that. And please like, share, and subscribe if you would. I would appreciate it. And until next time, I'm Joe. This is Hexed Encountered, and happy gaming.